Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Eugene, what's up? How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Well,
Should we
hello,
introduce
friends.
ourselves?
Yeah, I'm Eddie,
I'm Eugene.
and we are.
Middle-aged Barbarians.
That's who we are, yes. So, what's up? What's new now? The monk.
Monk. They just revealed the monk, man.
That's cool. Monks are cool.
Yeah, actually, out of all I've seen, it seems like they actually put a little more elbow grease in reworking the monk.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense now. Because most of the time it had like this weird sort of cool abilities, but they didn't seem to work well together. But this new version does feel more synergistic, like it does something interesting at the same time.
Yeah. So I guess today we will be talking about the 2024 Monk Edition.
There we go.
Re-edition or reboot we were working with. So interesting. They get a couple of changes.
Well, first of all, the unarmed strike works differently for everybody, since he has understand, which affects them.
Yeah.
And obviously theirs is better.
Yeah, because they get to do theirs as a bonus action.
Yes, which means opportunity attacks, everything.
Yeah, they reworked the levels and stuff where they'd get their abilities. They had actually mentioned in the video that the monk had like the lowest rating, play rating, favorability. Nobody really liked it much. And we did mention that back in our MOBA Venn diagram
Thingy.
Yeah, we put them in the middle, but like in the bottom of the middle.
Yeah, in the bad middle.
The bad middle. Not the good middle.
Yeah, because like I said, they seems like they had this very cool stuff that worked at the same time that doesn't make sense together. But now it kind of does. Now it seems like they're the very, very smart combat melee fighter that works warrior rather than fighter that can move around the battlefield and do all this sort of cool stunts and affect the battlefield. Remember me? It reminds me of 4th edition. What was it called? Controller?
Yeah. A lot of, again, we're going to beat this to death until the producer just tells us to shut up one day. But again, a lot of, he's starting to scream now. A lot of...
philosophically, it seems like
a lot of control, a lot of movement. Not only my movement, moving like strategic pieces on a war board kind of thing.
Yes.
Which I've always liked a lot. So maybe I'll be more into 5.5 than I thought I would be. Yeah. They're letting the monks use an expanded weapon list. And on top of that, they can add what we had mentioned, the unarmed strike as a bonus attack. And they are reworking it a little bit. They changed the name. It's now called martial arts, I think is what they're calling it, instead of just whatever it was called before. And the rework has them with 3 options. With that unarmed strike, they can choose to deal damage, or they can grapple, or they can shove. So then, and on top of that, you can add the weapon mastery, like we mentioned previously.
All martial classes get it.
A lot of stuff going on in the combat. Now, something cool is that their Dex mod is what they're going to be using for the save DC for like the grapple and the shove instead of strength. And they said this is going to help out to make it a little bit easier to be a more effective monk because you're not going to have to divide your abilities.
That was a big problem, whether you were a strong monk that didn't do that much damage or a dexterous monk that was hard to hit. But
so it seems like dexterity is going to be the way to go. Dex and wisdom for a really, really powerful monk character. Like you mentioned, they're going to be changing the way unarmed strike works with the die. Key has been changed to monk's focus. So now they're going to be using focus die instead of key points.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to kind of separate it a little bit or you can make your own tradition instead of a Shaolin monk, which is the obvious one, but you can build something different.
Yeah. And they're going to be adding, at least at the beginning, they mentioned 3 options for those monk focus points. I hope I don't mix up and say something or pronounce something wrong here. Patient defense. Is that what that was? Yeah. Patient defense, step of the wind, and the flurry of blows, which is
classic ability.
Yeah. So then basically the patient defense, you can disengage as a bonus.
And expend a point.
And this is always going to be, like, there's going to be, like, abilities that will always be available. And then you can spice them up with a point. So patient defense lets you disengage as a bonus from the beginning. And if you add a point, then you can add dodge, the dodge ability, to the disengage. Step of the Wind, you can dash as a bonus, and if you spend a point, you can disengage as well. So you can combine stuff there. And then Flurry of Blows is like the bonus attack on Armed Strike, already spiced up, so you can add an extra hit there. And then they say that when you gain levels, then you'll be able to add more stuff to those abilities. I don't know what you think about like the main class. They're adding options for them to recover these points a little bit quicker, farther down along the line. They can also regain hit points.
Rests and use sort of self-healing, which has always been kind of a thing for the monk.
Yeah, but I think the coolest thing are the actual subclasses more than the base class.
Yes. We were talking a little bit about that, how it's avatar. One of them is basically you're the avatar.
Yeah, but you can be any avatar you want. It doesn't have to be wind. You can switch up your element again, wishy-washiness. Don't pick something. Do whatever you want.
Well, you can be Aang. Yeah, basically that. You got elemental powers, and you can mold the element a little bit, which is clearly inspired by Avatar.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like that they add the... I'm going to call it like a fireball ability, because it's basically fireball. You can make an explosion with a 20-foot radius, 120 feet away, but it doesn't have to be fire. It can be wind. It can be earth. It can be heart.
Nice.
Go planet. You were mentioning something. I mean, like, yeah, because it's 4. It's Warrior of Mercy, which I've never played a Warrior of Mercy.
Yes, they kind of specialize in subduing opponents and a little bit of healing and so forth, right?
But they had mentioned that was brand new from Tasha's.
Yes.
And they really didn't. They didn't change much of that because it was, one of the latest things that came out. The one we're mentioning is the Warrior of Elements, is the more avatar-y.
Interesting new one, yeah, sort of. Yeah, and I was talking to Eugene. You guys probably don't know this anime because it wasn't as popular as in Mexico, but Saint Seiya, or as it's known here, Knights of the Zodiac.
Right there.
That's one. That's a swan.
No, it's not.
Who's that?
That's Phoenix.
Phoenix, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's Phoenix. Iki the Phoenix, yeah.
Iki the Phoenix.
Yeah, which was but this is sort of a badass martial arts warrior that uses a lot of
he does a lot of psychic damage.
A lot of fire. Movement. So yeah, this new monk kind of reminds me more of that. In trying to remove the theme of having to make it sort of like the fantasy Shaolin monk, they opened this sort of possibilities, which seem very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and they added the Warrior of Shadow, which I thought was, I guess, kind of interesting. They mentioned pairing this up.
Kind of like a ninja, right?
Yeah, kind of like moving a lot in shadows, can make darkness, can actually see in the darkness, so he's not hampered by his or her own abilities, their own abilities. Yeah, they had like Shadow Step, they call darkness, stuff like that. Like ooh, poof, I disappear, I transport. And they got into something interesting between, I forget what these guys' names are called, and I'll get chastised for it. I think one is called Todd and the other one is called, what's his name? The announcers. What are the announcers called?
Todd and Bob? I don't know.
I know that they're, forgive me, community. I'm not wasting so much time learning people's names. The people that were talking about this, the official spokespeople and the writer and the guy from Wizards and the interviewer or whatever, they were like, oh, this will be so exciting because then you can have like the Warlock and this other one and they'll be Misty stepping and transporting and ninja, poof, poof, paf, poof, paf. And then the guy's like, well, remember, this isn't a PvP game. And I'm just thinking, if I was the DM, I would make them fight human enemies that have these abilities and make them suffer.
Or non-human enemies. I mean...
Yeah, because they were saying you can like spice up your monsters with certain abilities from the players. But he kind of freaked out. Like, no, this isn't a PvP. This is a cooperative game. I'm like, come on, man.
I mean, that's the idea, but we have also played it antagonistic, which is fun as well.
Yeah, of course. You can run 2 different campaigns and then have them
fight at the end.
At some point in time, which would be kind of cool.
Yes, it works out pretty nicely. And plus, Well, I'm thinking maybe they were thinking about the thematic abilities. Like you said, there's a bunch of Faes in other videos. There's a bunch of Fae based or Underdark based. Maybe you can run with the whole team for all the subclasses of all of the players, and they're all very sneaky.
They're all gothic heroes, and they're real.
There we go. They have weird
moody
haircuts and a lot of. If they run out of eyeliner, they get a penalty and so forth.
That would be horrible. We're like the dogs.
Yes.
This. Wait, I'm forgetting something. We're getting distracted here. Oh, and there's the fourth one, which is the open hand monk, which is the vanilla,
the classic
Shaolin-y that they add. I think, what did they mention? Like wholeness of body. They get a couple of stuff per day to heal themselves, and
the abilities that
blah.
don't really make sense. The abilities that I said that really don't make sense as a whole sort of strategic thing, as a synergistic character.
So
monks seem pretty cool.
I guess it'd be a little bit more fun. I guess we'd have to. You know who I'd love to hear their feedback on this is Fernando.
Yeah, he loves monks.
Fernando loves, a friend of ours. He loves playing with monks. He was actually being like, "Oh, when can I go on the show? When can I go talk with you guys?" I'm like, we'll figure it out. Maybe we can invite some people over one day and just chit chat.
Yes, we're still figuring out all the layouts and stuff. So
yeah, we've been changing cameras up. I don't know if y'all have noticed. Please let us know in the comments if you like the 3-camera view. If you think if I can just invade his camera, if we like this, if you want us to be a little bit closer, because the producer wants us to get closer and closer and closer.
Our beards to get entangled, maybe.
Again, I'm going to tattoo your beard on my arm, or you can tattoo my beard on your arm.
Yeah. No, maybe not.
Oh, I know how to bake. We're halfway there, brother.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
But it's the easy half. The other half, I don't think I really want to get into. Anyway, so, this has been our take on the monk. We'll have to actually wait and play with it for a little bit and see how.
And make up like new names for all the attacks. That's part of what, like they do in most animes. In Knights of the Zodiac, they had weird names for all of the punches. But we're just going to be unarmed strike, and it's going to be called, I don't know, Fist of the Bearded Monk, Feast of the Bear, or...
Some bear fisting sounds a little weird.
Bear fisting, yeah.
Anyway, some bear fisting, bear action. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I think I know which way we can go with this channel.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Fist of the North Star. That's also another classic anime that reminds me of this new monk, which is a badass fighter that roams and is very strategic.
Is that the guy that used to have like a steel horse? Is there a metal horse or something?
That's Brave Star.
Brave Star. Oh, sorry.
Which is very cool, but he would probably be a ranger, Brave Star. I don't know. It'd be interesting to build him up. It's a classic 80s cartoon. If you haven't seen it, probably the producer's going to put an image of who Brave Star is. And what the Fist of the North Star is one of the first really, really violent animes that ever came.
Oh, no.
Yeah, really, like, I don't know, like the guy punches and you see the whole of on the enemy, or the classic line, "You're already dead." And the guy's like,
"What?"
Yeah, I hit you and you didn't notice. And then he drops dead. And you're like, oh my God.
They don't. I didn't see that ability in the monk.
Yeah, they used to have it and they no longer have it.
Actually, I remember, now that we're kind of chit-chatting about days gone by, remember the whole Bushido...
campaign we've played, yeah.
Right, but there was a system there. I'm trying to remember the name.
Jutsu Focus. It was a dual. It's a dual.
The dual system for the samurai. That was awesome.
That was very interesting.
And it reminds me a lot of Bushido Blade, which we need a Bushido Blade remake. Nothing to do with D&D, but it'd be awesome to have it.
It was a really good game. I kind of got decent at it.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Well,
yeah,
like
that's today's episode. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us, come chit-chat at the Discord.
And as usual,
rage responsibly.
Yes.
Take care.